Sambhava sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharata.
The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata.
Sarvayonishu konteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyoner aham bija pradapitaha.
It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father.
Sattvam rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhava nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam.
Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty Arjuna, he becomes conditioned. I can't see. Okay. He becomes conditioned by these modes.
Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam anammayam sukasangena badnati jnana sangena chanagaha.
O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge.
Rajoragatmakam vidhi Krishna sanga samudbhavam tanyabadnati kunteya karma sangena dehinam.
The mode of passion is born of unlimited desirings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material actions, bound to material fruits of actions.
Tamastam ajnanam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidrabis tanyabadnati bharata.
O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness born of ignorance is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The result of this mode is madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul.
Sattvam soke sanjayati raja karmani bharata yanam avritya tu tama pramade sanjayati yuta.
O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruit of action, and ignorance, covering one's knowledge, binds one to madness.
Rajastamas chabi bhuya sattvam bhavati bharata raja sattvam tamas cheva tama sattvam rajastata.
Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy.
Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyad vivridam sattvam yuta.
The manifestations of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge.
Lobha pravritirarambha karma nam ashamaspriyaha rajasyetani jayante vivride bharatashabha.
O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruits of activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop.
Aprakasho pravritischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivride kurunandana.
When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are
Yada satve pravridetu pralayam yati dehabrit tadotma vidam lokan amalan pratipadyate.
When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages.
Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate tata pralinastamasi muddha yonishu jayate.
When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom.
Karma na shukrayasyahu satvekam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukam ajnanam tamasa phalam.
The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness.
Satvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramada moho tamaso bhavato jnanam evacha.
From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, sadness.
Urdvam gachanti satvasta madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaganya guna vittista ado gachanti tamasaha.
Hi Krishna, we can't hear you, Yash.
Oh, sorry. I couldn't hear Sridham, so I didn't know when you finished. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable world of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds.
Jnanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drashtanupashyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhigacchati.
When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature.
Gunanet etanatityatin dehe deha samadbhavan janma mrityu jara dukher vimukto mritamashnate.
When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life.
Arjuna vacha kerlingestin gunanetan atito bhavati prabhu kemachara katam chetams tingunan ativartate.
Arjuna inquired, "O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes of nature?"
Shri Bhagavan vacha moham evacha pandava. Shri Bhagavan vacha prakasham cha pravritim cha moham evacha pandava nadresti sama pravrittani navrittani kankshati udasina vadasino guner yona cha vichalyate gunavartanta evam yovatistati inengate samaduka sukha swasta samalot Lostasmakanchanaha Tulyapriya Priyodhiras Tulya Nindatma Samstatihi Anapamanayos Tulyas Tulyo Mitari Prakshayahu Sarvaramba Parityagi Gunetasa Uchyate.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O Badhu, you who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated with the self in regard to like happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal towards the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature."
Mam chayopavicharenam bhakti yogena sevate saganan samatityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate.
One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of mature nature and thus comes to the
Brahmano hi patishtaham amritasya yasya cha sasvatasya cha dharmasya sukasya kyantikasya cha.
And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness.
Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Shu Upanishadashu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Gunatravi Vibhaga Yoga Nama Chaturdasho Adhyaya. Thank you so much, Yash and Sridham. That was a
Thank
wonderful
you.
recitation. Okay, so today we will be discussing text 14 and also carrying on our goal setting conversation yesterday, which we had. I hope all of you have done the homework, which we discussed. So I'm quite looking forward to that session today about goal setting. So let me just, in the meanwhile, get to the page. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Text 14. Yada sattve pravridhetu pralayam yati dehabhrit todatma vidam lokan amalan pratipadyate. Translation. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One in goodness attains higher planetary systems like Brahmaloka or Janaloka, and there enjoys godly happiness. This word amalan is significant. It means free from the modes of passion and ignorance. There are impurities in the material world, but the mode of goodness is the purest form of existence in the material world. There are different kinds of planets for different kinds of living entities. Those who die in the mode of goodness are elevated to the planets where great sages and great devotees live. Great. Om Jnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. So yesterday we had a nice discussion on text 13. So if you all remember, this section which we just finished yesterday was all about recognizing how the modes are always competing with each other and trying to prove that one is superior and the other one. And we saw some of the very interesting perspective of these modes from Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam's view, which was quite enlightening to see how what Srimad Bhagavatam talks about, how somebody, especially in mode of passion, what happens to the person in mode of passion and how does he behave, what are the things which impels him to be situated in that mode and then act according to that mode. Now we are moving on to the section 4, which is about acting and dying within the modes, and then we will get to transcending the modes. So from this section, which is about acting and dying within the modes, we will be discussing the mode today, which is the mode of goodness. Both the result of one's action and the results after one's death are predominated by a specific mode of nature and thus bring about a certain results. So here, there are two important points. It's a short purport. So I'm hoping today hopefully won't go very long and we can have a nice discussion on goal setting. Death in mode of goodness. So Amalan indicates free from mode of passion and ignorance. So that's the word Prabhupada also talks about and mentions. The word Amalam indicates free from mode of passion and ignorance. And mode of goodness, which is the purest of all the three modes, form the existence in the material world. And eventually one reaches to the higher planets. So we will go more in detail as we get to the text 18 later on, but this is mentioned in the text 18 that how somebody who's in the mode of goodness gradually goes upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. So you see here in front of you, right here is the hellish world, hellish planets. This is the earthly planet, Bhumandala. And here you see all the heavenly planets. And these are the heavenly planets which this particular verse is referring as a destination of somebody who's situated in mode of goodness. And what are some of those planets? If we wanted to have a look, some of those planets are Satyaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, Swargaloka. It is mentioned also in the purport that this is the planet of the sages. All the sages are there, the realm of all the demigods. So you see, as we go up in the planet formation, uh, things starts to become very subtle. We can't experience them how you would relate by seeing, because we are so conditioned with our gross body. The gross body is of course there, but the planets are very very subtle, and you can see that how as you go further up, you even leave the subtle body before you enter to the spiritual world. So the destination of somebody who has managed to situate himself or herself in sattva gun or mode of goodness is that he has now the opportunity to enjoy all the wonderful pious credits which he has accumulated, or 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 or, or her who's accumulated during the course of their lifetime. Now that they go to the heavenly planets, they're able to exhaust those, but it will take them a long time before they can exhaust that and be able to then come back again to the earthly planets. Because it is explained in the Bhagavatam that even the Devatas or the Devis who are living there on those planets, and many sages, they are desiring very intensely to be able to come down to the earthly planet. And the reason for being is that the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, descends on this earthly planet and enacts his beautiful pastimes to attract us, our hearts, our mind, our intelligence, our whole being, actually, so that somehow or other we can realize that this world is tuch. It has no significance for us as carrying a material body in this world, but we should rather engage in the service of Krishna, and thereby even transcend the mode of goodness and attain to the pure planets or the planets of the spiritual world. And you see, it is explained that the duration of one's lifetime in the heavenly planets is much bigger than on the earthly planet. You can be living there for thousands of years because and be enjoying the sense gratification to the best of your capacity because it is available in abundance in heavenly planets. But the problem with such opulence and such wonderful things or sense gratification is that, like how His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj very beautifully explains, the problem with the heavenly planets is because we are too much engrossed in enjoying sense gratification, one also becomes conditioned to think of devotional service. And down in the lower planets, one is so much suffering because of the effect of these planets that one starts to feel the so much suffering and pain that he or she really struggles to actually perform or think of bhakti in that condition. That is why earthly planet is actually a very suitable place, and among among the entire planet, the Bharat Bhumi is considered as a Punya Bhumi, a land of Punya and land of Tapa, austerity. So that is why we see that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, all these wonderful incarnations of the Lord have appeared in the land of Bharat, because it's a land which is full of so much piety, so much austerity, which is performed by many sages and the pure devotees of the Lord, that the Lord feels an intense attachment towards his devotee, and he takes place on this earthly planet and try to attract us back to the spiritual world through his wonderful pastimes. So in a nutshell, that's really what the presentation is. But if you wanted to get a bit of an idea from Srimad Bhagavatam, I thought, let's look at this particular purport, that what is the state of our consciousness? What are some of the things which we need to be very conscious of in these three different modes? So perhaps, okay, sorry, that page got disappeared. So maybe if we can have Mukesh Prabhu, would you like to read this paragraph for us, Prabhu, this purport of Srila Prabhupada?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mind and sense control, tolerance, discrimination, sticking to one's prescribed duty, truthfulness, mercy, careful study of the past and future, satisfaction in any condition, generosity, renunciation of sense gratification, faith in the spiritual master, being embarrassed at improper action, charity, simplicity, humbleness, and satisfaction within oneself are qualities of the mode of goodness. Material desire, great endeavor, audacity, dissatisfaction in gain, false pride, praying for material advancement, considering oneself different and better than others, sense gratification, rash eagerness to fight, a fondness for hearing oneself praised, the tendency to ridicule others, advertising one's own prowess, and justifying one's actions by one's strength are qualities of the mode of passion. Intolerant anger, stinginess, speaking without scriptural authority, violent hatred, living as a parasite, hypocrisy, chronic fatigue, quarrel, lamentation, delusion, unhappiness, depression, sleeping too much, false expectations, fear and laziness constitute the major qualities of the mode of ignorance. Now please hear about the combination of these three modes.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this is from the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, from the 25th chapter, between the conversation of Uddhava and Lord Krishna. Krishna explains to Uddhava that please have a look at this modes of material nature. Now, Uddhava is clearly beyond the modes of material nature. But what happens is sometimes there are some similarities of somebody who's situated on the transcendental level or Shuddha Sattva or pure goodness. For example, faith in the spiritual master. A devotee has the faith, but there are many kinds of spiritual masters. So that could be one thing to consider here. Renunciation of sense gratification, that is a symptom of somebody who's not attached to the material world. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this person is then attached to the devotional service of the Lord. Just having a renunciation, even a yogi can have, and that is a state of mode of goodness. You see, there is a very fine line between goodness and sattva gun. It is highly recommended to rise oneself from mode of ignorance to passion to goodness, and then to be able to come to the level of Shuddha Sattva, because goodness is illuminating, and that is a good platform or a ladder to step towards to ultimately reach pure goodness. And the result of somebody situated in pure goodness is Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na sochati na kangshati, sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labate param. That at that stage, he does not lament, he has nothing to fear of, he is completely situated at a platform. He has transcended the modes of material nature. And from this point, mad bhakti labate param, the devotional service, the real devotional service can actually really start to manifest or really start to take place. So something really nice to aspire for. So those were some of my thoughts from today's presentation. I hope I am, oh yeah, I'm doing okay for the time today. So now let's have a little bit of a discussion to see if anybody has any comments or reflection from this, but or maybe we can take it at the end. I'm really keen to see how many of you took out 10 minutes of your time following our conversation yesterday and managed to write down your goals. Sonal Mataji is putting her hand, so it looks like she's managed to write down her points. I also had, who did I have a message just before I was about to log into chat? Our dear Pratibha Mataji, who's such a dedicated member for our chat community. She wrote, thank you for being such, with such honesty, Mataji, for writing your goals and sharing it with me. Mataji sent me her chanting goals. She sent me her shloka recitation goals and studying a Bhagavad Gita at least once every day. So that's really remarkable, Pratibha Mataji. Um, these goals are very, very potent. You see, when we have a goal, we know we are working towards something. And Prabhupada always encouraged the devotees to have a goal. Our Goswamis had their goals. Everybody, anyone who wants to be successful in life should have a goal. That's my limited understanding as well. So anybody else, please, you don't necessarily need to share your goals, but rather the experience of picking up the pen and a paper and power of writing something, especially in relation to your spiritual activities and personal goals at the same time, as we said. How many of you had an opportunity to do that? Anyone? Wow. There is a pin drop silence here.
Hare Krishna, I managed to
Oh,
do it.
oh, thank you, Dev Kishan Prabhu.
No,
I
it's
was
all right.
thinking I'm the only one here. Oh, thank you so much. I'm feeling a little bit encouraged now. So
No
please
worries.
share, how did you feel about, putting it down, and what was your thought process? And are you feeling any different into this 2021, having penned down what you did?
I think the simplest and the most powerful insight I had was that as soon as I wrote down the goal, it's literally like I literally felt like my mind had changed its direction. And
Wow,
literally all of my thoughts just started to focus directly just towards that.
amazing. See, that is the power of writing things down, Dev Kishan Prabhu. And thank you for sharing that, because
No worries.
that's exactly what it did to me when I wrote down on 31st night my goals. And I saw how I did in 2020. And my mind started to relocate. Devesh or Divinam, you've set yourself a goal. Have you done this? Have you looked at a verse? Have you done your pages of Bhagavatam? Have you, studied or read your chapter of Bhagavad Gita and discussed one shloka with the family? So these things start to really come. So thanks for sharing that, Prabhu. That's really helpful. And
No worries, Hare
I
Krishna.
wish you all the best. And I pray to Srila Prabhupada, not only you're able to meet, but hopefully you'll be able to smash your goals, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Jai. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Vishalini Mataji.
Navnichur and myself, we didn't write it down, but we are already doing it.
Wonderful. Okay.
Because we started in Kartik Mas, or we
Wonderful.
actually started in Purushottam Mas, but we are
Amazing.
still carrying on,
Oh,
like
wow.
getting up early. Before
Amazing.
4 o'clock to 7 o'clock, we must finish our 4 to 6. We must finish our japa,
Wow. Amazing.
and then we have got temple deities at home, so we do their service. Before we used to do the Mangalarti, but now we have changed, because when we do Mangalarti, then we can't do the japa.
Wow.
Because we've got a young grandson we have to look after.
Nice. Where are you based, Vishalini Mataji?
We are in ISKCON South London.
ISKCON South London. Amazing. I thought so. That's really nice. Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Those are very uplifting goals.
And reading every day Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam.
Wow. You can't go wrong, can you? If you decide to put a goal for yourself on a piece of paper, to not letting a day go by without reading Srila Prabhupada books, you just cannot go wrong.
Yes.
So, yeah, please carry on, Vishalini Mataji.
And obviously, chat we do with you, but sometimes we do Bhagavad Gita on our own. But at the moment, that's all we can do. But I want to start doing the bhajans now.
Wonderful.
Some bhajans.
Bhakti Vinod Thakur's bhajans.
But that is, I think, a little bit too far to think about. But at the moment, these are the things we are really working on, that we have to do it before it used to be Mangalarti at 4:30 at home and everything, but since the grandchild came and the temple deities came, we changed our little bit of a program. So we chant our rounds before we wake lordships up.
Nice. Very uplifting, Mataji. Thank you for sharing those goals. Really uplifting and very, very inspiring.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Did any one of you had an opportunity to hear the session from His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, which was shared by Vrindavan Chand Prabhu on setting goals?
No, I haven't, but I
Okay.
intend to because
Yeah, I would highly encourage. It's a wonderful
yes.
session. I'm going to share some insights with you with the article which Prabhu shared, so we can reflect on that and see how we find it quite helpful. You see, this is the power. It takes a lot. You see, it's not so easy for somebody to say, Prabhu, write it down, but our mind is as such. I've got it all in my mind. What are you talking about, Divyanam? I know I'm chanting 16 rounds. I know I'm going to be reading certain pages. I read Bhagavatam every day. I hear from Prabhupada every day. So there isn't a need. Everything is in my mind. But unfortunately, if we trust our mind like that, our mind has a tendency to cheat us sometimes. And when it does cheat us, it really pulls us down, and it takes a while for us to then again come back and rise and again start to practice from where we left off, actually. So sometimes the power of writing can really be very, very helpful from that perspective. So let me see if I can share my screen. So these were some tips. So some of the very important points, why set a goal for yourself? And I want to share some of these things. In his song, Any Road, George Harrison sings, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. In other words, if you don't set clear goals, it doesn't matter what you do, you won't get anywhere. Do you see the point? In his purport to Bhagavad Gita 2.66, Srila Prabhupada writes, disturbance is due to the want of an ultimate goal. So I impress upon devotees that it is really important to have a personal goals in various categories, says Vaisheshika. For instance, if you don't have a goal for improving your sadhana, personal spiritual practice, then you will stay on a plateau. Plateau means you'll be stagnant. What stops people from setting goals? According to His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, the 5 reasons why people don't set goals are they haven't thought clearly about what their life will be like if they actually attain certain goals. They don't know how effective goal setting is. They don't know how to set goals. They fear they might fail, and they feel overwhelmed and think they are too busy and disorganized to set goals. These are some of the reasons why we do not come to an idea of setting a goal for ourselves. And then the power of writing your goals down. You see, there is a lot of power in just 8 words from motivational speaker Jim Rohn, who said, decide what you want and write it down. If you only have goals in your head, they haven't manifested externally enough to inspire you. You see my point about the head? If they're only in our head, that means we are not inspired enough or motivated enough for those goals to then manifest, you see. And as soon as you take the time to articulate what you want in writing and put it onto a piece of paper, it crosses from the thought world into reality. That's the big difference. Why do you think Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami are 6 Goswamis? Why did they work hard in writing the books? They had it all in their mind, in their heart. And in those, even in those ages, because of their purity, if they were like Jiva Goswami instructed, gave shiksha to Narottam Das Thakur, that would have been enough. Narottam Das Thakur could have just, um, you know, took it from Lokanath Goswami, his spiritual master. He heard from Jiva Goswami, and then his disciple Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he could have just heard, he was a completely self-realized soul. What need was there for him to give commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam and other things, actually? You see, this is what the pen does to the world. When you write things down, it makes a big difference. Keep your goals where you can see them. We talked about it yesterday. Once you write them, put them on a board. Like I have it here. Which verses, what are you doing? Where are you in your various courses you wanted to take? What kind of food you want to learn? What is it that you want to cook for your Gopalji, for your deities? And the best thing is that here it is mentioned, after you write your goal, break it down into small, easy, achievable tasks. and do something towards them on a regular basis, such as weekly or daily. Many devotees thought finishing Chaitanya Charitamrita or Srimad Bhagavatam was unattainable for them, but when they broke it down into small pieces like 5 or 10 pages a day, they became victorious. So I try to read 14 pages every day of Srimad Bhagavatam, and I know that in 3 years I'll be able to finish Bhagavatam. So it's a great idea. And Chanakya Pandit says, in order for anything to manifest as your natural proclivity to carry on that task, you need to try that activity for at least 30 days before you even think of giving it up. Somehow or other, you resist and keep going, you keep going, and you keep going, and give your best for 30 days, then it'll become part of your activity. Bharti Mataji, your hand is up. Would you like to ask a question? Okay, so those were some of the thoughts on the goal setting. Hare Krishna, somebody's trying to say something. Right. So my suggestion is it's 8:25. I like to take 10 minutes, if you don't mind. We can all, first of all, do one exercise in next 2 minutes, maybe in 1 minute. If you can all get a paper and pen, that would be very helpful. Let's do this exercise today and see how helpful it is for us. Is everybody okay to get a pen and paper?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare
Prabhuji, can I
Rama.
share something while we're waiting?
Yes, go ahead, Eva.
So I was thinking in the past I have set goals, but it's mainly been increasing what I'm doing. And this year I thought I need to more focus on realized knowledge. So read something, but contemplate on it, more mananam on it, and how am I going to put that into practice? Because it's not, as you said, it's not just about finishing the Bhagavatam in 3 years or in 2 years, whatever. It's about reading maybe just one verse, but reflecting on it, and contemplating on it and seeing what you can put in practice. So it's not about increasing your sadhana, is it? It's about doing little bit, but making sure that you understand it and practice it.
Yeah, that's very true. And that's a very good goal to have, actually, because you see, Srila Prabhupada's books are both deep and wide. And sometimes by going wider, you can go deeper. And there is an analogy, or rather an example is given when you're surfing in the ocean. As you go deeper and deeper, you find the jewels right at the bottom of the ocean. So Srila Prabhupada's books are a bit like that. The more you read again and again and again and again, the deeper you can go into Srila Prabhupada's books. And this idea that Prabhupada has not given everything is not a great idea. It's a dangerous idea. Actually, Prabhupada has given everything. And if you read Bhagavad Gita again and again and again, you will relish it even more than what you had relished in the previous time when you read it. And that is the difference between a material literature and a transcendental literature. It is ever fresh. Like Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj quote from today, Sundaranand Prabhu gave a very good description as he narrated, transcribed it. He mentioned that how Maharaj was saying that with New Year coming together, there's nothing new. And in another quote, Maharaj said, material circumstances can be up and down, but if we take shelter of the Lord, then we are always protected. So similarly, nothing is new in the new year. In fact, it's quite a bad start if you think about it from a material perspective, and at least for people in England and many parts of the world this year. But what is new for a devotee is the tendency to hear and chant and relish those wonderful pastimes of the Lord. Okay, so now that you've got pen and paper, here it is. So I would like you to write down, at least come up with 3 or 4 categories where you would like to make an improvement in our life. So think of spiritual, personal, or business. It can be anything. So maybe just have those 2 or 3 points where you really want to try and make some significant improvement. I'm going to give you 1 minute to write those 2 or 3 headings. It can be family, it can be work, spiritual. Okay, great. So I guess most of you have got that. Now I would like you, for today, let's see if we can just focus on spiritual, and then you can carry on that work, or let's see how we go with it. Now, within the spiritual categories, I would like you to write down at least these 4 headings, if you can. Hearing, chanting, reading/studying, as Hema Mataji said, and finally, service. You see, prasadam and dancing, they're part of our lifestyle, trying to practice Krishna consciousness. Not so much dancing these days, but maybe at least at home when you do kirtan. And prasadam is what we survive on. It, at least I live for eating. Hearing, chanting, reading, and what was the last one?
Service.
Service. Thank you. Now, I would like you to take another 1 minute and decide what is it that this year you want to do. If you're chanting 16 rounds, find the ways of how you can do those rounds attentively. What are the things you can do? Think of distractions which are there. Do you need to buy a do not disturb sign when you chant and hang it outside the door for an hour when you chant? Or do you want to take a vow today and pray to Srila Prabhupada that let me chant my 16 rounds without me touching my WhatsApp message even once during those 1.5 hours? Or if that is too much of a big part for you, start with 4 rounds. Say that I'm going to sit in one place and chant 4 rounds before I even start getting up. And because of my Rajagun, walk and chant. And sometimes it's because of the health as well. So think of these practical steps. Another thing you can think of when chanting is that I'm going to be being very conscious of hearing the holy name as much as possible. And I want to see how much am I able to hear. And sometimes you see when you're spaced out, the round can finish early. And that there can be a couple of reasons. You could be fast, you could miss the beats. So these are some practical steps you can take by putting a timer on the phone on that 1 round or another thing. If you get distracted, or switch off the mobile data so the message doesn't come in, and see how you're doing it. So these are some practical steps one can start to think while you're chanting. How much are you able to hear? Prabhupada really emphasized on hearing the holy name. So think of eliminating those distractions. Put them as a goal that this year, I'm going to take a vow. I'm going to do at least 2 rounds or 4 rounds without getting up, and I'm going to try to hear them. And slowly and gradually, you'll make some difference and increments, and you will notice it for yourself in your chanting, how it's getting better. In hearing, my request to you is add at least 10 minutes of hearing from Srila Prabhupada on his lectures. You can just go to Vanipedia. They are 7 to 8 minutes long, or even 5 minutes if you put yourself. Just 5 minutes, and see if you can hear those 5 minutes while seated in one place rather than cutting vegetables or cooking. Because the whole thing which Hema Mataji mentioned is quite important sometimes. Like Navdeep Chandra Prabhu, our teacher of a Bhakti Vaibhav, he made this point very nice. Sometimes we think, oh, hearing is quite nice. I'm ironing, I'm doing, let me hear. But there is a difference in that hearing and when actually deliberately sitting down to switch on a lecture and just not doing anything and but hearing. So that's another way of focusing your attention on the transcendental vibration actually. So that's my suggestion. Add Prabhupada to your life. Hear his lectures. Apart from that, whichever personality inspires you, give them another 10, 5 minutes, whatever is practical for you. And finally, for reading, it is a highly recommended idea if you are like not reading every day to decide a goal for yourself. If you have not had that goal in the previous years that I'm going to read 4 pages of Bhagavatam, 5 pages of Bhagavatam, 3 pages of Bhagavatam, 1 page of Bhagavatam, 1 page of Bhagavad Gita, 1 page of Nectar, whatever book you feel you have not read of Prabhupada, the ideal would be start with Bhagavad Gita. You can do Bhagavatam at the same time. There is no harm. But also pick up the small books of Srila Prabhupada. That's a very, very helpful way as well to begin reading some of these books. And finally, in the service category, you can come up with some ideas of, okay, I'm going to dedicate my life. It is lockdown. I don't know when. Let me, my first 3 months, help to see how I can share Krishna consciousness with others. Can I cook prasadam and give it to my neighbors while we are here, or at least our neighbors are good with us and I've given prasadam before? Can I help give people prasadam? What can I do for the temple? Is there any service? When is the next festival? God Purnima is coming. What could I be doing for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What is most pleasing for the devotees? How can I be distributing the books? These are some really practical ways of thinking of service and having some time dedicated for giving it for books. So now I've given you a little bit of points. Feel free to build on that. Add and go into the detail tomorrow when you sit down, or tonight. Look at the time, look at what is it that is practical for you. Start smaller. Don't go, if you're chanting 4 rounds, don't think and go, I'm going to chant 16 rounds every day. That is a nice aspiration. If you can have, that's wonderful, but it needs to be sustainable, something which you can carry on. So those were some of my thoughts. Similar thing can go for family. Like, I'm reading Bhagavatam with my children and family. That's something I want to carry on into New Year. Discuss Dhruv Maharaj Katha. That's what we're doing. We're going to pick up another personality and keep discussing those times. I'm trying, one of my bad habits is to, when I'm talking to people and sometimes even my own wife, I look at my phone in the between and I'm trying to answer a WhatsApp and I'm still talking. So I got told off by my Guru Maharaj on a couple of times actually on this, and I'm trying to really write that goal again, because that was my last year goal and I haven't improved much. I'll be very honest on that. And that's because of my passionate nature. So I'm going to try to focus on giving attention and building relationships this year. That's a very important point for practicing devotees, to try and have meaningful relationships among the community of the devotees, and also to go and reveal your heart and put yourself in front of somebody for chastisement. So some of the things which are very helpful for us in order for us to move front in devotional service actually. So now, do you think this exercise was helpful? How do you feel? If any one of you have written it down, would you like to share some thoughts with me? Does any one of you feel a little bit better? Do you think what you wrote down seems like doable?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Who was that?
Yes, Kanta.
Okay, Kanta Mataji, maybe yes was very nice, but could we have a little bit more? How do you feel about writing the goals?
Actually, apart from reading and practical service, I'm doing everything else already.
Okay, wonderful, Mataji. That's really nice. So you're going to focus on reading this year in 2021?
Yeah, reading is actually not, I'm interested. I am just hearing is best for me, audio.
Sure.
Srimad Bhagavatam audio,
whatever inspires you, Mataji. But one thing I want to say, Prabhupada said, a lot of times we as a human complain, like not us, or as a devotee, I mean, all of you have a taste for reading Prabhupada books, but people do complain, I don't have a taste. But Prabhupada said, I don't have time. But Prabhupada says it's not a matter of time, it's of a taste. So sometimes we deliberately focus on doing a task which may seem a bit difficult, and then the taste comes as a result of us actually trying to really make a deliberate effort to do something. So that is always very helpful. Thank you for sharing that, Mataji. I have a reflection here from Hema Mataji, who's saying wonderful tips on the 4 categories. Thank you for helping us focus more. Divya Gaurangi Mataji is saying very helpful exercise and goal setting tips as well. Thank you, Mataji. And Bhagwati Mataji is saying very nice goal setting tips. Thank you. So yeah, it is a very powerful exercise. I'm not saying that I stick with every single thing I write, but I do review what I have not done and what is that I've been a bad boy about still. And I try to put that again back for 2021 and work on it. Let's think of it this way. Everybody right now in the world is just thinking and meditating, when will the COVID, when is the normal going to happen? But a devotee's job, or rather mood, should be that what is it that I can do now to control what I can to some degree? How can I make adjustments in my life so I can change my consciousness? So, because you see, we see people how we want to see, or the world. But when we take to scriptures, then we have a very broader view. Then we see, oh, people are suffering. Oh, there is something called karma. Or not only karma, there is an individual karma and there is a collective karma, and it's all coming together. How can I make an impact to the world? Let me begin with myself. So charity begins at home. You see, we save a soul one at a time, beginning with ourselves. That's our motto of book distribution. Unless and until we are reading, chanting, and trying to have to some degree, some taste and attachment towards Krishna consciousness, we will struggle to share it with others actually. Any other thoughts? Couple of minutes. We're going to do a bhajan today. And also, I have few thoughts which I've been going through. There are some suggestions about trying to encourage children to recite Bhagavad Gita. So maybe that's something I'm going to be reviewing over this weekend. I've had a very busy marathon and I'm still winding up. Tomorrow is our National Marathon Festival. Please come between 11 and 1. And on the following Saturday, please save your time. I think time will be around 4 to 6 p.m. We are going to have our congregational Bhakti Vedanta Manor Congregational Sankirtan Festival in association with Sutapa Prabhu and Mother Vishaka. But tomorrow they'll be giving all a very small talk. So there'll be video recordings of personality and all the temples from UK will be joining in. So you'll be able to hear their realization. So do take out 2 hours if you can tomorrow. It'll be really nice. And then following Saturday. So tomorrow, all our results will be revealed with all of you. You'll be able to see all the hard work each one of you have put in marathon. That's why I didn't put the flyer out purposefully. And we will go more in detail of that and hear from some of you on next Saturday when we have our own marathon festival actually for Bhaktivedanta Manor virtually. So I have a couple more reflections here. Raslila Mataji saying it was wonderful to set goals. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Krishnamani Mataji saying it was a great idea to write goals. Well, I'm very happy that you found this exercise very helpful. I'm not good at it, but I learned it from my spiritual master. And when I did it for the first time 3 years ago, I can assure you that it has only helped me in my Krishna consciousness. And I guarantee you that it'll help you, that even if you could follow it for like 30 days, then it'll become part of your exercise, your daily routine actually. And that's what regulated devotional service means. We cannot rise to a transcendental platform or Raganuga platform just like that, unless, Mahaprabhu directly empowers us or we get some special benediction. Possible, anything is possible with Krishna consciousness. But in most cases, it's the regulated life which can really help us, dear devotees. So I would like to hear one more comment, and if possible, audible. How does maybe somebody can share before we go into our today's bhajan? How does somebody feel about writing the goals?
I feel great, Prabhuji, because this is my first time doing this.
Oh, and wonderful, Mataji.
I love it. I love it. Yes.
I'm sorry, Mataji, what's your name?
Kanta.
Kanta Mataji. Okay, great. Nice to hear from you again. I'm so happy you're feeling so positive about the goal. Anybody else? While I'm just bringing the bhajan, putting it together, Shobna Mataji is saying that I need to increase my rounds, read more of Srimad Bhagavatam, but my goal of 3 years to start local Gita class materialized last year. That's wonderful, Mataji. And Jyoti Mataji is saying, thank you so much for your encouragement with goal setting. That's another thing I would like you to consider. Many of you on this session are very, very qualified to be running chat sessions. So my personal request, and this is also my aspiration and dream, is that all of you one day should be able to start at least begin with once a week chat session. Even if it means just 2 or 3 more devotees within your circle or your friendship, just say that, why don't you come, call your friend and say, let's say, I don't know, Meena, Hari, whatever their name are. I'm planning to recite a chapter of Gita together. Like some of you have already started this last year, like Divya Gaurangi Mataji and few others. So please try to think of reaching out to other people and let this chat become so wide and bigger that so many devotees, let them all join together, and we can have like Mahasanghas where you can invite everybody if they feel inspired to together. But once a week, make that effort, or once in 2 weeks, whatever is practical for you, dedicate half an hour of inviting some new friends who have the Gita but have not read it, and read a chapter with them. And when you finish, just read one verse and discuss. And that's chat. That's what we do anyway, right? We read the purport. I share the points. Nothing is my manufacturing, nor do I have any realization. I'm also a practicing sadhaka. So that's one of the very good goals. I would highly encourage whoever can write this goal down and start a little chat session once a week within your friend circle, family circle. It's Zoom. You can reach out to your relatives, mama, masi, Ben, anybody, your brothers, sisters, and start a little chat session with the family, once a week, start, or once in 2 weeks, half an hour. And you see, you will get such purification and nourishment by just doing this exercise. And Srila Prabhupada will be very, very pleased, because what that will do, three things. One, we do this for our self-purification. You will feel inspired and enlightened. You will read the purport beforehand, so you can make 2 or 3 points and share with them. That will make you study Prabhupada books and go deeper, to Hema Mataji's point. Second, you are doing the best service, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that there's nobody more dear to me than one who tells others about this sacred conversation of ours. So you become dear to Krishna. And third, you are going to encourage and inspire them to take part in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement, because you all want the books to be distributed. So the more devotees come in our movement, more books are going to go out. So 3 things will happen. Imagine what an impact you will do by just chanting a chapter of Bhagavad Gita once a week with your friends. How does that proposal sound to you all? Please let me know either in a message or in audio.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, you should share something of that.
Danvat Pranam. Yeah. No, I just want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart that because I started attending your chat sessions in lockdown, it's been very, very inspiring because this is so consistent. And every day we meet and we hear in Devotee Association, and it is very systematic because we are learning each and every verse. And we are hearing different devotees recite. And I am basically inspired by Yash and Sridham. Basically, first I heard Sridham recite shlokas, and then I thought, wow, this is so good. And then I started reciting at home. I always had this, liking for shlokas, and I used to, but it was not daily. So I every day I thank you in my mind, and I share with my family also, and all the devotees who inspired me to, join this session. So, and yeah, and then starting this sloka recitation is absolutely so good for my own learning because I'm reciting beforehand, learning, and in devotee association, sharing it with others, it's purificatory. And at the same time, because of the chapter 12 we were doing, where Krishna says that this bhakta is so dear to me, who spreads my message, that was actually my real inspiration. I want to become dear to Krishna, and sitting at home, what can I do at the moment? Because of COVID, all the services are not there, right, Prabhuji, at the moment? I used to
Absolutely,
make
Mataji.
garlands and other things. So this is one service I can do sitting at home, and it has really helped me. And the credit goes to you and our Siksha Gurus of Chad. So I'm very, very, very grateful to you. And lots
Thank you,
of
Mataji.
blessings to you, Prabhuji. May
That's
Krishna
what I
bless
need,
you always.
Mataji. That's what I need. I need everyone's blessing so I can also make some progress in my Krishna
Definitely,
consciousness.
yeah. I pray to Krishna to empower you more and more, and so that you do
Thank you.
more and more service, and your whole family is very inspiring. And His Grace Vrindavan Chandra Prabhuji, Mukund Hari Prabhuji, Madhukumari Mataji, listening to them, I got actually reach. Always eating in me. I want to, you want to, and at the same time you're worried and you're a little bit afraid, nervous.
Yes,
But
Mataji.
finally, I think I've just turned the corner, but still there is a long way. I have so much to learn, but I just read and then repeat. So it's all from Srila Prabhupada's books. But thank you, Prabhuji, for the
Thank you.
encouragement. May Krishna always bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Divya Gaurangi Mataji. So Prabhus and Matajis, please, it's a great idea. Reach out to your relatives and read a chapter with them on a Zoom. That's my request. That's what I beg most out of you. You've been attending the sessions for a year now, nearly a year, not a year as yet. And it's been an incredible journey for all of us. But please help us expand this vibration of Bhagavad Gita. My another request to you, if you don't mind me making, is all of you in some form or other reached out to many of your friends asking them to sponsor the Gitas. So we will be inviting them for the course for sure very shortly, sending an email out to them. But I wanted to ask you to, if you can reach out to those people, because you've been asking them to donate, and start chat with them once a week. If you or if you're a little bit nervous, invite them here. Let them get some inspiration, and then later on you can start some sangha with them once a week actually. And you will relish this. You know, you will see Srila Prabhupada is going to empower you like anything, like how Divya Gaurangi Mataji was sharing. You know, it's an amazing experience to just share and repeat what we are reading from Prabhupada books. So can I please have some Hare Krishnas, if you're going to willing to give it a try with some of your close relatives, old relatives, new relatives, kids relatives, far out relatives sitting in Australia, New Zealand. Anything is possible now. This COVID has taught us that we can connect much better than what we were connecting before. So how many of you would like to try start chat session at least once a week with your family or with your friends or with the sponsors of Bhagavad Gita? Jyoti Mataji is going to try. Divya Gaurangi Mataji is going to expand. Hema Mataji is going to try. That's brilliant. Any more devotees? We have many, all of you are qualified to read a chapter. Kusum Mataji is going to give it a go. That's amazing, Kusum Mataji. Who else is going to give it a try? Let's please hear today, because there is nothing more pleasing to Srila Prabhupada than all of you going and reciting a chapter of Bhagavad Gita with your friends and family. I'm telling you, even if you just give it a try and just share what you're reading and what your understanding is. Rupa Mataji, you're very qualified Mataji. You should definitely reach out to many people and try to recite a chapter of Bhagavad Gita and discuss Bhagavad Gita with others. This is very much needed, and I humbly request you on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, he'll be very pleased with this service, that if you can invite some new people to read Bhagavad Gita. Mitali Mataji is saying you are a very, I wouldn't agree with that. I am trying to be a devotee, Mataji, but thank you for encouragement. Very kind and so enthusiastic, energetic, helpful. You have great blessings. Thank you, Mataji. These are all Rajogun qualities in me which are coming out. There is nothing in the back.
Prabhuji, I couldn't finish writing, so there's more to say.
No, Mataji, thank you so much. Krishna Vani Mataji is going to try to recite a chapter on Zoom. How exciting is that? Imagine the whole world is going donkeys here thinking, where am I going to find food, water and things? It is unfortunate. But here, all of you are thinking, how am I going to reach out to others and give them the real food for their soul, to keep them alive, not only in this life, but take them to the spiritual world, take them to their real father, where our real father is waiting, you know. Tapasvi Prabhu, very good strategies to make us disciplined. Tapasvi Basu, thank you so much for the. Shobna Mataji is going to give it a go again. She's already doing so many wonderful service. So I can take it like all of you are going to give it a shot. I'm very grateful to you all. Let's end on a beautiful bhajan tonight. It's a very, very nice bhajan. And this evening we have Hema Mataji who's going to sing this bhajan. But maybe one devotee at a time. It's called Kevala Astakam. One devotee at a time can read the translation. If it is clear enough, I'm going to try to zoom in. Yeah, I can zoom in. So go for it. Anybody can go in.
Okay, I will try, Prabhuji.
Sure, Mataji.
More sweet than all other sweet things, more auspicious than all other auspicious things, the greatest purifier of all purifying things. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything.
Try.
The entire universe, from exalted Brahma down to the lowly clump of grass, is a product of illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. The only thing that is reality again, I say reality, the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything.
Hari, Jai. Beautiful. Text 3.
That person is a true perceptor, or a true father, a true mother, and a true friend. Also, only if they teach one to always remember the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything.
Haribol.
There is no certainty when the last breath will come and put an abrupt halt to all one's material plans. Therefore, it is wise to always practice chanting from very childhood. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything.
Lord Hari eternally dwells in that place where truly exalted, spiritually advanced souls sings in the mood of pure devotion. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything.
Aho, what a sorrow, what a great sorrow, more painful than any other misery in the world. Mistaking it as a mere piece of glass, the people have forgotten this jewel. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything.
It should be heard Again and again with one's ears, it should be uttered over and over with one's voice. It should be perpetually sung and sung anew. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything.
It makes the entire universe seem insignificant as a blade of grass. It reigns supreme over all in a splendorous manner. It is full of eternally conscious divine ecstasy. It is supremely pure. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything.
Jai, thank you so much, Jamakunda Prabhu. Looking forward to hearing from you tomorrow. Can't wait. Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol. Jai. Hema Mataji, over to you. Please, we will recite with you behind the muted mics.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. I'm offering this bhajan to His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj. He sings it a lot, and he's the one, because of his singing, that I've been relishing this bhajan so much over the years. So thank you, Hare Krishna. Maduram madurebhyopi mangalebhyopi mangalam pavanebhyo pavanam pavanebhyopi Hare nameva kevalam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Abrahmastam parayantam sarvam mayamayam jagat satyam satyam punah satyam hare nameva kevalam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Sa Guru Sa Pita Chapi Sa Mata Bandhavopi Sa Sikshaye chet sata samratam Hare nameva kevalam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nishwaste nahi vishwas Kadarudo bhavishyati Kirtaniyamato balyada Hare Nam Eva Kevalam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Sada Vasate Tatra Yatra Bhagavat Jana Gayanti Bhakti Bhavena Hare Nameva Kevalam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare अहो दुःखं महादुःखं दुःखाद दुःखतरं यथा काञ्चतं विश्वममृतं रत्न हरे नामेव केवलम् हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे दियतं कानो नियतं वाचा गियतं नित्यं हरे नाम एव केवलम् हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे त्रीणि कृत्या जगत् सर्वं राजते संकलोपरि चिदानन्दमयं श्रुतं हरे नामेव केवलम् हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरि नाम की जय थैंक यू हरे कृष्णा
Jai, that was beautiful, Mataji. Thank you so much. Very nice bhajan, very nicely sung also. Thank you. Maharaj will be very pleased with your offering. Thank you very much. Many devotees are thanking you for this, choosing this beautiful bhajan and singing it. Thank you. So thank you everybody for this wonderful 2 days I've had with all of you. And tomorrow we will have the good fortune to hear from Vrindavan Chand Prabhu. And before that, I will see you all tomorrow on our National Sankirtan Festival, where we will be sharing the results of our effort from the marathon, and we'll get an opportunity to express my gratitude to you all more in detail following Saturday. Please reserve the time. Please don't have any programs. It's easy to ask you to reserve the time because we are in lockdown. So next Saturday evening from 4 to 6:30 p.m., probably 2.5 hours is what we will require. We'll have quite a few devotees sharing their realizations, etc. So please keep that time, and also tomorrow 11 o'clock. Thank you, everybody. Until then, please look after yourself and do work on the goals, and let me know how you're getting on when we meet next week again. Till then, one
Sorry,
chakal.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
tomorrow 11 o'clock is what? 11 a.m.
Yeah, 11 a.m. is the National UK Sankirtan Festival, Mataji. It's on Sankirtan Forever group, the Zoom details and everything for that.
Oh, we have our mentee meeting, Prabhuji.
Oh, you do? Okay. In that
Same
case,
time.
maybe you can catch up on the minutes, on the recording. I think it'll be recorded most likely, Mataji. And then you can
Okay.
attend our Bhaktivedanta Manor congregation one as well on the following Saturday in the evening.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, everybody. Vanchakalpatarubhya Shakripa Sindhubhya Patitanam Pavnebhyo.
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
devotees.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
everyone.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Tomorrow is our Bhakti Vaibhav class.
Yes, Mataji, we have to watch the presentation tomorrow of the devotees.
Yes.
Yes,
So
yes. So even I will not be able to, I'm encouraging everybody. I will be leaving in between for some time, Mataji. I have told Navdeep Chand Prabhu because I can't get out of this. So
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
All
Because
right.
I
Thank
want
you
to.
so much.
Yeah, I will be watching.
But you
when
can
that
attend
was
on
over.
Saturday, Mataji, on Saturday evening next week.
All
You can
right.
attend.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Hare
you.
Krishna.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you.